Hi guys, Stingray Steve here. Well, a lot of people don't know that one of the reasons why the Beatles became famous was the transistor radio. And a young girl saw a piece about the Beatles on a Walter Cronkite CBS report, and she called in to a DC radio station in 1963 and wanted to hear "I Want to Hold Your Hand." And the they radio station reluctantly released the record ahead of time. It was supposed to be released in 64, mid-January, and they played it for her. And after that, all the radio stations started playing it. Girls all over the U.S. were requesting it, and they all started playing it. And they all had transistor radios at the time. I remember when I was a little kid, around 1963, my sister got a transistor radio for Christmas, and I was so mad that I didn't get one. I was crying. And eventually I did get one, but it was like a tiny little thing, and it was so cool to be able to listen to a radio in those days. So when the Beatles came off of that plane, they had no idea that the whole country was listening to "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and all the girls, mostly girls, fell in love with the Beatles. And the top 40 radio stations all over, Murray to K and New York rock and roll stations were all playing his songs. And when they got off of that plane, there was girls all over the airport waiting for the Beatles, and they were just amazed that they were so popular before they even got to this country. And it's all because of the little radios that everybody had, and they were able to walk around with their girlfriends and listen. And I remember when they did arrive, my sister went to an all-girls Catholic school, and all of the girls, they came home, and the Beatles are going to be on Ed Sullivan tonight. And I remember I was sitting there. She made us all watch it together. We all sat there and we watched the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and I think the whole country watched them. And it was amazing how they were uh, couldn't believe it themselves. And now, as soon as they got off the plane, Pepsi was sponsoring them, and they were handed a couple of these radios. I think every Beatle had one, and they would bring the radios around with them, and they wanted to hear the reviews and what was going on about the Ed Sullivan program. And they were in their rooms, first time in America, and they could not believe how popular their songs had become in America before they even got here. And it was the start of Beatlemania. And as you can see, I have some pictures of the Beatles holding these actual Pepsi radios. Pepsi was one of their sponsors. And I don't think anything like this will ever happen again. This was over 50 years ago. And Ed Sullivan had all the rock and roll bands back then. I remember he had the Stones, and he had the Doors. He had all of the bands that first came out, and it was a great time to be alive in America. Okay, so guys, let's listen to my opening here. Bye, guys. Beatles radio that I got at the yard sale, and I got it for $50. He wanted 75. I've seen them go for a lot more, and I've seen them go for less. So there's not too many around. I've only seen about 3 or 4 of these that were available at some time on the internet. And I don't have the box or the earphone, but I do have the case, which is pretty cool, and it says Japan on it, and very cool. And he had it in the sun in his case for probably for years. I'm the only one who showed any interest in it, and you can see the grill here is warped a little from excessive heat from being in this direct sun, which was not too good for the radio. Its appearance, and up here it's a little bit warped where it says "Say Pepsi, please." But this is the original radio, that same one that was handed to the Beatles. It's got a Pepsi sticker there. It's missing the one there. And on the back it says Industrial Contacts Incorporated, New York, and then under it says Japan, and it says 9 transistor, and for 1963-64, 9 transistors was a high quality radio, because most of them were 5 or 6 transistors, as I recall. So it's a cute little guy. Okay, so let's see if it works. So we got one screw in the back here, so we'll unscrew that. It's loose, wasn't too tight, and let's see if I can. Okay, I can do it by hand. Come on. I think it's okay. It's loose. Okay, so let's see if we can. There's a little chip here from opening it, so we don't want to get that any bigger. Oh, it came right off. It came right off. Okay. And wow, it's nice and clean inside. Look at, guys. Really nice and clean. I don't see any oxidation or corrosion. So at least it wasn't kept with the batteries in it, because if it was kept with the batteries in it, all of that oxidation would have spread like cancer all over the radio. And you can see, I believe these are the transistors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one down there, 9 transistors. Okay, so they were honest. And basically most of these radios back then were 9 volt, so it's pretty rare to find one that was using C batteries. And there's cardboard in here, and I don't know what it says. I think it's in Japanese. Can you read that, Stephen?
Let's see what it says. Well, here it says inspected, and I think it says Horie or something. Yeah, that's it's in English, and it has a star on top
Some
of
of it's
inspected.
in Japanese?
No, it's all English.
Okay. Alright, so it was inspected, and the speaker has Japanese on it. So let's see what happens here. And we got to be real careful with this plastic, because it's probably a lot more brittle now than it was when it was first made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the batteries like so, and then try to just lower it in there, so without. Okay, went in. Okay, so no damage there. And we're going to do it the same way, because we don't want to stress this plastic. He did have it in the sun, and knows after over 50 years what might happen. Okay, so we're going to try to lower that in there. We got it. Okay. There it is. And the radio was not used much because usually this little guy is disconnected, or so nothing has to really be done here. Okay, so we're going to attach. You hear this? Okay, so I think for $50, at least it works. So let's see if we can. I might have to turn this around. I'm going to video it. There's a little bit of plastic here. Might be in the way. A little bit of plastic. I'm having problems, people. This little plastic I'm talking about is super hard, and here we go. Look. Nice, I'm going to try to find out. What's going on, people? I don't line up perfectly because that plastic is in the way. Anyway. See if I can have it bend that a little bit. I know it did bend. Okay. There's the earphone jack. I think we got it lined up now. Let's see what happens. And you gotta be real careful here because you don't want to crack it more. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's see.
That team is so well coached. That organization is so well run. They're going to win games they shouldn't, and they're going to beat you. Team will find a way to be a winning team like they have every year since Mike Tomlin's been there.
And that's why you wanted Mike Tomlin as the next head coach at USC.
Maybe Lincoln Riley.
Back in 1964, practically every station, there was no FM really. Every station was playing the Beatles, and I'm sure they were amazed when they got these radios and heard they were so popular in the States. And as I explained it, they released their album early, and that's why they became so famous. So it all has to, part of their fame has to do with this little transistor. So I'm happy
I love
it works.
Baltimore is the most college-like atmosphere. They've got the
So
band.
thanks for watching. Hit that
they've got all these
subscribe button.
Festivities.
We're going to try and find more
stuff
stuff like this.
Suggs would do their dancing.
And I'm going to keep these batteries in here for a while. I hope they don't leak. But there you have it. The Beatles Radio. Bye, everybody. And Merry Christmas.